the decision to relocate or to move or to seek refuge in Canada definitely is one of the best decisions I've ever made for me. Myaka abiri ndabye abantu nga bagenda simanyi na bwe nja kikunyonyola above and beyond okubeererawo abantu above and beyond okubeererawo abantu nze kati omuntu yenna eraga nti community teriiyo oba sigyetaaga. Actually, first of all, simanyiyo anywhere in the world where that kind of mentality can work. The mentality of kye bagamba abazungu, no man is an island. I don't know where anywhere in any society where you can have that mentality of an island and you function. Simanyi nti nakisoboka. Katonda yatutonda mu ngeri nti onneetaaga nkwetaaga. That principle ekoze okuva ensi lwe yatandika paka we tuli. Kati gwe bw'ojja n'oyagala obutagitambuliramu obeera wekka. Obeera wekka because the reality is tojja kusobola kuexistinga ng'oli wekka.
Green Cargo ye company ya shipping ebintu okuva mu US nga babitwala e Uganda. Basobola okukola pick-up oba osobola okubireetera. Osobola okubireeta mu barrels, osobola okubireeta mu boxes, oba osobola okubireeta nga weebiri ne babipakinga bulungi ne babishippinga. Batwala ebintu ku nnyonyi buli wiiki oba gw'ayagala okukozesa emmeeri batwala ebintu buli mwezi. Basange mu 481 Boston Road, Unit 4 mu Berica, Massachusetts, oba bakubire ku simu yaabwe +1 781 288 2042. Bagambe Paradise yakusindise basobole okuwa discount oba kozesa discount code Paradise 10. Yeah, tell us about this place where we are. What is this place?
Where we are sitting right now, this is, I don't know if I could pan around and people see, but we are seated in this very nice little office. I spend so many hours here. So this is Milliken Wesleyan Methodist Church. I'm a senior pastor here. So part of what I'm privileged to have is an office. So this office is part of the church building. That's where we are seated. Markham is the name of the town. The province is Ontario, and the country is Canada. The best country in the world after Uganda.
Well, I think I have a big American audience. I think the Americans will disagree, but that's up to them. Musumansanso okulaba ensonga lwaki nza okulaba the community ye Canada ekula.
Yeah.
And you're one of those people that has been around, since you came here and you said you've been here since 2006.
Yep.
The community is growing. And obviously you as a pastor, you know the importance of community, especially being that we are immigrants to this land.
Yeah.
I want you to talk to us about, first of all, how did you get to come here? And was it a choice? There was other countries. Why Canada? Why not the greatest country, America? Why the second greatest?
Yes. Oh, by the way, first things first, I always make sure my guests have some tea.
Some tea. Okay, I'll get a cup of tea. Yes.
This is part of our conversation. You have your last name sounds Luganda. So
as I'm Uganda, yes. I am a Mamba man.
Uganda kulya. It is my joy to serve you that cup of tea.
Thank you so much. It's in a very
and may God bless our conversation.
Amen.
And as we have this time, I think that is one of the questions that I'm happy to attend to. So you're wondering, how is it that I ended up here and not another place, or even why? Yeah, I wouldn't have answered this question if you asked me this question in 2007. I wouldn't be able to have the language that I am going to use right now.
Yes.
I have had the opportunity of speaking with so many different people that have moved and left their country of origin or birth and moved to another place. And I'm obviously in that category of people also. But I have learned of this thing we call either push factors and pull factors. Basically, every person who leaves their home to go to another place whether it's in the days of the Bible, children of Israel, or today in our times. There are pull factors, so reasons that pull you, or push factors, that reasons that push you away from where you are. And if I think of the push factors, I will, now that I'm comfortable to talk about it, for me, there were mostly economical reasons. There were some political reasons, but they were minor. The bigger really was economic reasons. And I'm okay to talk about that right now. For me, that's mainly why, to move, without going into too many details,
Right.
but to move so that you set your life up in a way that you will be a better person tomorrow, economically, but also in other aspects. Yeah, for me, that's without going into too many details. The most of my push factors were economical. Now, in terms of the pull factors, I had a friend here. We went to the same university. We went to Makerere University together. And every now and then we would be in touch. I didn't know too much about Canada at the time, but because of this friend, an opportunity came, and I utilized it. I think for flowers, I believe in giving people their flowers when they can still smell them. So I'm gonna mention her name. Her name is Millie Nalwanga. Most people know her as
wasoma naye Makerere.
Yes, Makerere campus, the best university in Uganda again. I've been to all these best.
Okay, you've been in the best world, yeah.
You got it. So she gave me not too many details, but some details enough for me to make a decision. And I am forever grateful for that decision.
Yeah, most people, abantu benjogera nabo bagamba the choice to move for them was the single best decision gye baali bakoze. Nti would you say the same, nti how, as opposed to picturing your life in Uganda singa tewavaayo, okiraba otya, the opportunities that you've been able to get here as compared to back home? How do you think your life would have been different? Would you be in the same area morely? Do you think you'd have, what do you think that would have been like?
Yeah. Well, so because it's not possible to drive in looking in the
past.
Yeah. However, if I am to follow up with that statement you made, that most people you speak with, they seem to say that this was one of the best decisions they've ever made. I would agree. Totally. I would agree. Well, was it difficult? Of course it was difficult. But it was very difficult. There are many layers to that decision. When at the time of departure, my wife was 3 months pregnant. So it was going to be our first baby.
Wow.
And but I didn't know the details of when I come, how long will it take me to be able to go back to see her.
Yeah.
So long story short, it took me 3 years before I could travel back. Wow. So that means the first time for me to hold my child, our firstborn, Christian, the first time for me to hold him was when he was turning 3. Wow. So between when he was born and his 3rd birthday, and that time there was no WhatsApp videos and things like that. Yeah. We would only talk on the phone and things like that. So that was difficult. That was specifically difficult. But even that considered, I still say, and I think my wife would also agree, that the decision to relocate or to move or to seek refuge in Canada definitely is one of the best decisions I've ever made for me. And now I haven't even talked about the spiritual part of this decision. In Uganda, I wasn't a pastor as I am now. There are many touch points in my story where I see the hand of God very active in transforming me into the person that I am, including or especially being a pastor. So yes, I would agree with. I would be in that group. So add me on the list of who say that for me, the decision to move, with everything considered, is one of the best decisions.
And I think Katingamu 2006 when you came, well, things tewali your WhatsApp, you couldn't see your people. But I also think, do you think there were more opportunities to get started with work and support? Or do you think it's how different is it?
How different is it? Kati bwe ntunuulira social services,
Yes,
for example, which is an area I'm familiar with because of my work and because I worked in the social services industry for pretty much all my working life. Yes, things were a little bit easier back then in 2006. I'm looking at now somebody who arrived in, let's say, 2 years ago. I'm looking at their life and they arrived as maybe a refugee, which is also was my case. I'm looking at them and I'm comparing to the things I had to navigate. Yes, it wasn't easy, but it was very different from the things they have had to navigate. Yeah. So in terms of opportunities, I'm going to say they're just different seasons or times. But even now, all the opportunities are there. So in fact, if I can encourage that person who came today, maybe they are even because of the different methods and means of communication. We didn't have that back then. People are more connected. Yeah. So and I think that's a positive for somebody who arrives now compared to somebody who arrived in 2006. In terms of competition for services, yes, we had a little bit of an easier journey.
Less competition
ago than now. Yeah.
So when I look at the community here in Canada, I'll say Toronto.
Yeah.
Community amwekula.
Yeah.
Because obviously between ako time 2023 and now, a lot of people have come in.
Yeah.
Nkubira paint for me a picture for bo muntu alaba atabade tamanyi community waneno yatandika di really to start to formulate, because you've been here. Was there a community or did it formulate over what did it
say? There's always community. There's always been community. But what I can say, when did it start to formulate? Unfortunately or unfortunately, ebintu ebimu ebireetedde community by default come together. Ebimu bibadde unfortunately. Ebintu kati ng'ebyo. The more you get to know about each other, I don't think nti abantu kati bafa nnyo compared to 2006. But I don't think there's anything in the water or in the air where, wana Uganda bali mu Canada bafa nnyo ennaku zino. I don't think it's that. I really think it's because we are more connected. So ekibaddewo in the home of somebody who lives in one town easily gets to me abeera mu town eyewala from their home because of how more connected we are. And because of how more connected we are, that has made it almost impossible for us not to care. Kubanga obiro bitegedde. Kigude wa Jordan, actually sakubuzo wanjogere Luganda wanjogere Luzungu, but I notice
Luganda. Whatever is comfortable.
Yeah. Ekigude wa Eddie, John yakiwulira kubanga of that connection. Akati John, unless he just pretends, tasobola kweyisanga atategedde biri wa Eddie. But in the past, I have to say, 20 years ago, it was possible nga Uganda ali eyo gyali bambi wala ebyamutuuseeko naye nga sincerely tomanyi. You just don't know. So I think that is one of the major changes. And people are more connected now. That's why we get to know the different lives of different people. Because of that, abantu abasinga, I might sound different than some, in my experience, and no one can take it away from me. Tosobola jeans jako because it's my lived experience. Mu myaka 2 ndabye abantu nga bagenda, simanyi na bwe njja kikunyonyola, above and beyond okubeererawo abantu. Above and beyond okubeererawo abantu. Nze kati omuntu yenna eraga nti community teriiyo oba sigyetaaga. Actually, first of all, simanyi anywhere in the world where that kind of mentality can work. The mentality of kye bagamba abazungu, one man's no man is an island. I don't know where anywhere in any society where you can have that mentality of an island and you function. Simanyi nti nekisoboka. Abantu abatusingako amagezi n'okumanya nga nsookedde ku Yesu naye nenyogerako n'abalala. They really emphasize who is the African Archbishop Desmond Tutu ayogera nnyo ku principle ya Ubuntu. I don't think tusobola oku existinga nga tetwetaaze muntu by nature Katonda yatucraftingamu. We exist okubeerawo okwange truly kwesigama nnyo ku kubeerawo kw'omulala kyonna kyoyogera. Look at us right now. Nantudde wano neneeyogeza nzekka tebinyuma. And you think of anything, you're going to realize
we need each other.
You do by nature.
Ate pastor obuzibu bwe tufunye because of this, me talking to different people, I've heard the counter argument. Ndi mu America, if I need health insurance, I'll have health insurance. So COVID 911 nti nsobola, if I need food, I don't.
So even just that statement. So for now, I'm talking about the bigger principle, not this little mindset of just the Ugandan community or the African community. I'm talking about a principle in general, the principle of codependence.
Needing each other.
We need each other.
Yeah,
so, okay, who could be the life insurance? Who's going to pick up?
A person.
A person is going to pick up. Kakati at a bigger picture, which is where I would like to stay or to start. At a bigger picture, ekyokubeera nga weemalirira tewali gye kikola. I'm here to see an example. I'm curious to omuntu ampeyo example where that mindset actually works. Tukyogera sometimes quickly and I might even add carelessly. Sometimes we speak carelessly. But then when you pause and you just analyze, apply your brain to the statement, actually this cannot work because it does not work anywhere.
Servants.
It does not work anywhere where an individual can just can exist by themselves. Ne bw'oba olina ssente, still products z'ogenda okugula zonera gw'ozikola gw'onoozeekolera. So that mindset actually bw'ogenda breaking it down, even to omuntu atali nti olina okuba mugezi nnyo ogenda okulaba nga tekola. Okay. Now, when we come to the smaller groups, do I need a specific group of people? Tugeze neetaaga abakyala in my life, oba neetaaga abaami in my life, or do I need young people? Let's all mukadde. Do I need young people in my life? We can have more detailed comment. Do I need tugeze oli muna Uganda, do I need a Ugandan community in my life? For me, with every ounce of sincerity and humility possible, I know that we need each other. Omuntu agamba nti tetwetaaga oba seetaaga bantu. Sometimes abamu, this is now the gracious part of me, abamu boogera out of trauma, out of hurt, maybe, or abantu babayisa bubi. And for me, I extend some grace there. Yeah, I do extend some grace there because tomanyi stories z'abantu. Ekituufu, it is the case nti abantu tulina what one theologian calls it propensity for evil. Tulina kyekitwala okukola obubi omuntu. All of us, tukina, we have it in our heart. And some people have been really hurt. Abamu bayisiddwa bubi. Kati omuntu ayogera bw'atyo, sometimes ayogera from a place of trauma. And I'm sensitive to that. So I don't quickly just go and judge and say, yeah, gwe byogedde tebiriyo wali musiru. Actually, abantu abasiru batono. In my experience, and I've worked with people all my working life, I haven't found many stupid people. Ayogeza busiru.
They come from experience, I was saying.
Abayina gy'ava kati olumu bw'omuwuliriza actually olaba nti okay kyayogedde kiri sharp, kiri pointed, nate bw'omuwuliriza ennyo, okay, eno gyava, bino bye byamutukako. But for me, I would like to address that conversation that way. Si gifuula nti it is the standard. Nti olw'okuba omuntu yakozesa bubi, then that means tewetaaga bantu. It just doesn't work. I'm very strong on that point. I think because as a principle, nkimanyi, whether you look at Jesus or you look at Jesus bwe bamubuuza tubuulire etteeka erisingirayo ddala okuba ekkulu mu mateeka gonna. Abagamba ekisooka yekalanga Katonda n'omubiri gwo gwonna n'obwongo bwo bwonna and your entire being. N'abagamba eriddako lifaanagana ne bagambye yagala muntu muno nga bwe weeyagala. Jesus ono njogera ku Jesus amanyi how life works. Of course n'abalala bangi boogedde a principle towards that kind of thinking. Kati nze bwe nsanga omuntu nga ye mindset ye eri opposite of that, yes, I'll listen. I generally, I'm okay to listen to people entitled to opinions, but sometimes their opinions fall other standard. That's where I have a problem.
Kati Musumba, someone might say, kubanga era nga bw'oyogedde nti there's been situations, kati you hear this on social media, nagende Canada, omuntu nansuza na kotogera. I've seen many people who say nti abantu be batuukiramu oba bayinza okuba kati ng'ebintu by'empapula I don't know if it's in Canada, but in the US they cannot discourage them okufailinga because maybe the homeowner has kids and they benefit from having that person being there to take care of the kids. Nti kati babysitter kati bwagamba nti ngenda nkole fingerprints ntandike processing, bamugamba ebyo linda ko Trumpers okaveeko. Obviously that's not kati
olina kwa foolish advice.
Kati omuntu oyo bw'ayitamu eyo embeera kati buli amugamba nti no community kati oyo wayinza okuva n'agamba seeteekera bannayuganda, oba people are like nansuza ku ntebe ye nankola bw'ati, kind of stuff like that, because people expecting to bwoba Uganda, you're just suddenly going to be like an angel, you open your home, which is also kind of false. So what would you say is the biggest reason, let's say Uganda ze mu Toronto, to get involved in the Ugandan community particularly?
What's the biggest reason?
Like reason nsonga ki
why should they connect with the community? Lwaki bandyenyigidde mu bigenda maaso mu
community? Yes.
Ensonga esookera ddala esooka nga without being too philosophical, esookera ddala yeya principle ey'okwetaaga. Katonda yatutonda mu ngeri nti onneetaaga nkwetaaga. That principle ekoze okuva ensi lwe yatandika paka we tuli. Kati gwe bw'ojja n'oyagala obutagitambuliramu obeera wekka. Obeera wekka, because the reality is tojja kusobola kuexistinga ng'oli wekka. So kyekyo ekisooka. My first answer is that. Kakati then bw'okikendeeza n'okireeta wano ku micro level nti naye Musumba soogera ku kya bigger principle, njogera ku kya Munnayuganda. Lwaki Omunnayuganda aze mu Toronto? Lwaki omwencouraginga nnyo yenyigire maaso mu bigenda maaso mu Bannayuganda? Kino ngenda kiddamu bwe nti badde wano emyaka 2 mu bulungi oba mu bubi, nina omukisa okuba nti oba mbaga oba kuziika oba incident yonna ng'ebaddewo mu maka g'omuntu nga Munnayuganda, somehow nfunye omukisa okubanga nga gyendi ngenda kukubuulira kino muganda wange. There was never once, ate nina so many incidents ezempaddeko, whether mbaga oba kufiirwa oba kyamasanyu oba kyannaku, nga kya Munnayuganda. Tewali kye nali mbaddeko nensangayo a bigger group of supporters oba abenyigiddemu okuyamba ku nsonga eno okusinga Uganda.
Wow.
I cannot even count one incident where nagenda mu maka g'omuntu Uganda afiiriddwa ngenda okutuukayo ndaba Abasomalia be basingayo obungi ku Uganda. Sikirabangako. And if you live in Toronto, you would know nti ebigambo bino kuba nti biva mu kamwa kange ng'omuntu abadde mu community. You would know that it counts for something. So that would be my answer number 2 kwa Uganda azze wano mu kibuga mu Canada, for example. Of course, Canada n'ebibuga bingi. It may not be Toronto just. Yonna gy'otuukidde gwe manya nti nno ng'akaseera ak'obwetaavu kazze, the biggest support egenda kuva mu Uganda. Kati omuntu omulala ayinza okuba naye Musumba nze byange tebyali bwe bityo. Luli nafuna kino such and such a problem. Omuntu bantu babiri be banyamba baali bazungu or something like that. And I won't discredit that. But I'm sharing my experience. Nyakabiri. Sirabangayo a big event like that.
Nti Uganda afiiriddwa waliwo abantu 32 bazungu.
Sikirabangako.
Always Uganda.
Sikirabangako. Kisinza kubalira bantu benzize Canada wano oba funerals zenkoze. Sikirabangawo. Nti netugenda mu church tuli mukola bagita funeral service. Netula bwenti ngenda okulengera mu butebe ng'abantu abasinga nga Uganda be batono. Sikirabangako. So I would encourage omuntu yenna bw'oba ofunyeyo a negative experience. So first of all, I empathize with you. I don't make light of people's negative experience. I just don't do that. Because manyi nti nga bwe nakugambye tulina kye kitwala okukola abantu obubi. Naye bw'obanga ofunye that negative experience, noonya moving forward. Noonya engeri eri positive gy'oyinza okukozesa that experience ng'ogenda mu maaso. Otherwise, if you live in that negativity, first of all, ogenda gomwenyini ogenda kusigalamu n'akakantu ku mutima, naye ate ogenda kutondawo ogenda spreading a negativity. There's nothing good that comes from spreading negativity. Oli somebody violated you, then kalato omuwadde so much power, okozesa incident where they violated you, ate kati empisa ze ozifudde nti ze empisa za community eyo
z'abantu bona.
Yeah. So kyenkana omwongedde amaanyi amalala already yakuviolating ate kati ogenda spreading nti abantu bonna beeyisa bwe batyo. Naye kanjogere n'oyo gwe wakwonyeko w'omu America gw'ogambye nti nojja ate omuntu n'akuwa katebe mu kifo ky'okuwa ekitanda. Naye ngenda kugamba naawe osooka weewombeekemuko. Kubanga first of all akuguliddewo oluggi, akuwadde kyalina. Okay, maybe ayinza okuba nga alinamu n'ekitanda naye sooka osiime nti akuguliddewo oluggi, akuwadde something, akuwadde roof over your head.
Oli mu kusampewo ye.
So simakaawo. I think ogwo mutima ogwoga ate nzize nampa ntebe mu kifo ky'okumpa ekitanda. Ogwo mutima I think ogwo mutima si mulungi, tegusiima. I would encourage you sooka osiime. And in the future, okay, here is where the rubber meets the road. In the future, nga naawe osetolinze abantu obaggulira make sure
yukira ye wanaatuukira ng'ateredde kyekiri ky'ogambye ajjaba akyalinamu kaali naye omusajja yankola bubi. So the power is gyawadde oli tagenda na kuinvitinga ye at all. Nagamba seeteekera Uganda eyasooka okunsuza yasuza mu kitebe. But now they are even worse than ono yakuza mu ttebe. So I think it's really important to us as Uganda, you know, living in the diaspora, not to just assume omanyi oba wakaja, you hear someone speaking Luganda, like you just assume nti mugenda connecting irawo, but also to realize that people are going through different things. Ozo sanga omuntu yes oba omusabye okusula ewe n'agaana, but ate tagenda tuula okunnyonnyola lwaki agaanye. So you as a community leader, njagala oyogereko wano guno kuba when I was here in 2024 I realized that waliwo abaana abapya bangi. And I think at that time you guys ku church waliyo n'abantu abali basula ku church. How is that situation now in 2026? What has changed? Is it any better?
Situation age. In all my ministry life, I can't think of a more challenging time. I'm them what happened. And I'm how things are right now. So things are better now, much better. But this is what happened. More 2023, July. Actually, a little bit before July, May, April, in the history of this land, wabawo ekintu kyetutalabangako. What? Abantu abadugavu, specifically abava mu Africa, bali ku nguudo za Toronto in a bigger way than we have ever seen. So something had happened in the system nti binabamu tebabimanyi naye kambigendemu. So mayor eyaliwo yagenda n'avaako, kati assistant mayor we n'ateekawo policy nti abantu abapya tetugenda bakkiriza mu bagita base shelters. So mu shelter wano omuntu bw'ajja mu Canada, omuntu yenna oba ozze oba obaddewo naye n'obaako ka season kweyitamu nga weetaaga aw'okusula. Wano waliwo a good social services system nti waliwo ebifo ebiyitibwa shelters. Birungi, si bibi, not those trauma stories simply za Dubai. So however that mayor mu Toronto yateekawo policy eyo. Kakati abantu baffe bonna abaali bajja mu kiseera ekyo twagenda okulaba there is an increasing number of people on the streets. Tugamba what's going on? Omwami bamuyita Fred Makaka ankubira essimu nga musumba, are you aware abantu abali ku street ate nga abamu Bannayuganda bangi ba Africa Bannakenya? Mugamba I knew but not in a big number. Nangamba number is big. Long story short, we get involved, I mobilize different people, and we take part in making sure. Waliwo omwami bamuyita Sally Henry, I think omumanyi. He leads this organization called University of Toronto African Alumni. So nga tukola group, again community here, nga tukola Zoom meeting buli Monday in the evening. Nga I make one appeal always nti bw'oba Jordan kati kanfubulire nekino nga nkola this appeal nga ngamba nti no, bw'oba oyinayo konna akantu mu ka space konna mu nnyumba yo, please take someone to your house. Ekyo twakikola okuva ngaawo mu mid-May paka July 15. Literally nga abantu ababa bazze abali stranded ku street mweyo week, nga tukuŋŋaana ku Monday in the church, nga tukola Zoom, nga individuals nga tebakumanyi na kumanya, nga akutwala olw'okuba musumba asabye Jordan ntwalira bano abantu ababiri bw'oba oyina wasobola obateeka. We did that for between May 15, mid-May paka July 15. So explain that to me. Bw'oyogera ku community nti no nti community teyamba. Kati nga mu kubasindikayo nali mmanyi nze yakolanga mu shelters, mmanyi ebyokunoonya shelter, tugenda kuzinoonya. Olwo sinnamanya biri ebya poliisi byenkugambye, nga mmanyi muntu ono muntwalire ennaku nga 3 nja kuba nfunye shelter mwagenda, nga bwe ndowooza. Twanoonya shelter nga zirabika tugenda okuzuula. Then I connected so much with the city. The mayor knows me by name, how much work we did. But then I realized there was a bigger problem than we thought. So ebintu byali very tight ndi mukuwa ekifaananyi then nzija kukya current. But nga ntachinga kwali ku community, gwe manya nti abantu abo bonna betwasindikanga amayumba g'abantu. At least benasindikayo, I have heard of some negative stories here and there. Since nabasindikayo, some people I think also went to the street nebegirayo omuntu janguze nkutwali waka. I can't speak for that because I have no accountability on that arrangement. But bano betwasindikanga omuntu, I've never received even one example. Omuntu nangamba musumba gye wansindise I regret lwaki wansindise bankoze bubi. No, not one, but I'm aware of some things I had. Simanyi butuufu bwabyo. Titugeze omuntu nagenda ku street najjayo omwana ate nga ayagala mukozesa, things like that. I have heard of that also, which is very, very deplorable. It's very unfortunate to take advantage of omuntu ali kuyita mu mbeera ey'okubona in that season. So after July 15, there's this big press conference or community yonna etegeddeko a little bit. Waliwo omusumba eyo ayambako abantu and all that. Tukola big bampita to speak in a press conference. It was a big press conference. All the TVs of Canada nga kweziri. And twogera ki nga tugamba government, this is not okay. This is just not okay. How is it that for the first time in the history of Canada, tulina abantu si bano ba typical homeless people, tulina abantu abapya abazze mu country as refugees nga bali ku street. Tekibangawo mu the history of the land. Something is unfortunately not right because tetusobola kukyewala to wonder whether it is also the case that olwokuba nti baddugavu, is that playing into what we are seeing. Long story short, they took us serious. They started working with us, but at that time nga bantu bangi, so you're right, netubaleta mu church on a given day nga nina abantu nga 200. There was a given day nga on average waliwo abantu 215 people nga basula mu church. Ngasula mu church. How did I pull that off? I have one answer. Community. Katika nkuwe example ndala. Olaba twakikoleranga ku church ku Dominion. Naye yes, olwokuba amawulire gaali gabitegeddeko, we received all kinds of donations. Naye bw'ombuuza nkubalire the volunteers be nakolanga nabo on a daily, because it was a 24-hour operation. Tuyinza kuleeta abantu 200 mu kizimbe kyo n'obalekawo for even 1 minute. Ate kati ebyo biwanvu nnyo. Bwe nkubalira ba volunteers abaaliwo 24-hour operation ng'ate balina emirimu gyabwe, nange nga nina omulimu gwange nga bwe gambye nali natandika dda okukola omulimu gwawange. Baali bana Uganda Jordan. Yes, eventually the city and all these different organizations, they connected. But bwe nkubalira ba volunteer be nali nkola nabo, a operation nene nnyo in the history of Canada. All those trophies you see there, they are connected to that operation. The reason the mayor knows me by name right now is because of that operation. It spoke a big volume to what community can do. Nga government is slumbering, for the lack of a better word. Yeah, that the city slumbered. The city dropped the ball. Bino byenjogera, I'm not like, just accusing. No. Bo bennyini. Ye mayor mwennyini mu bigambo ebinyinza okulaga bo video clips nga gamba, you know what, no. We know that we could have done better. But what they saw is what community can do when they step up.
Yeah.
Sinzanze kwogera naku the impact of community. I can't speak about it enough. So kati omuntu letsa agamba, kanzaleyo ku kibuuzo ky'omuntu oli agamba nti naye lwaki wandi nsindise nnyo neenyigire mu bya community. This is another example. When you were part of a community, osobola okuba part of a big thing kyotandisobodde kukola singa obadde wekka. That effort that now in the history of Canada, it will remain in the books of Canada until when we had a crisis, abantu nga bali ku street, waliwo ka group k'abantu, waliwo ka church katono, naye basaving abantu thousands and thousands from the street. Paka nga government yeterezeza. So after 2023, waliwo n'okuswala, government yaswala. Yaswalira ddala kubanga kyafuuka lwatu. It became so clear at some point nti there's a significant level of discrimination going on. Waliwo omusajja mulokola ali awo, musajja mugagga nnyo. Yatuyambako nnyo, yajjanga n'akuwa like $50 ne mugenda ne mugula ebintu. Kubanga ebintu byetaagisanga bingi nnyo Jordan. If you can picture, ne bwe liba lyenvu,
times 200
times 250 wategerera gye ne weyiba lyenvu bikubisemu 215 on a daily.
kati awo imagine nga meals,
Exactly.
beddings,
Wategerera gye
amazzi.
bino byangu nnyo nga bantu babiri. In fact, many people bakola ebintu bino ne bitagenda na kumawulire. I have so many like that mu kanisa nga bo okuva lwe babadde wano. Every now and then ogenda okulira ayinayo omupya gwayamba ayinayo gundi abaddewo ennaku nnya nga temutuwulira nako. But this was different. We are talking 200 people. So abantu abakireetera okusoboka, it is community, Jordan. Now when the city imaze okuswala mukaawo, then realizing that no, we cannot continue kuswala this way. Batandise hotel programs, it was also reactionary. Batandise Batekam hotels. Then December 2023, we had so many meetings. Up to this day, I'm on two tables of the city that are specifically focused on transforming the shelter services of the entire city. In fact, Canada wide. The one is just Toronto. All that came out of that. So I cannot emphasize enough. Lwaki omuntu yandenyigidde mu community. There are personal benefits, but also, you make it becomes possible for you to be part of something that is big. Kyotandise kwekolera nga ggwe omuntu wekka. So bingi nnyo bye nsobola okwogerako. Right now, things are different. Yes, omuntu atuuka kati, let me address omuntu ali e Uganda, maybe oba ali US, nga wherever you are, nga olowooza kujja Canada. I want to tell you nti that season came and passed. Right now, yes, here and there, nfunayo akasimu ng'omuntu ali stuck oba ali stranded. But right now, as I speak, there's a serious sensitivity to making sure nti the refugees oba omuntu omupyaze ta ending up the street. There's a very serious effort, and we are actively part of that. On a more community and personal level, I still have this dream. If I had all the money in the world, 3 years ago, I would have already had this structure standing. A community center that has a portion where people sleep. I still have that dream. I haven't stopped dreaming it. Yes, we may not do all like 500 beds right away, but we have now started in small portions. Nemubaye wano ne Jjumba nga maybe esobola okutuza abantu 2, Rwange nesobola okutuza abantu 10. We are trying to work something out with the support of the city, but I would say with the support of the community. So wadde kyakumenyamu gwe yajja mu kaseera ako, wadde maybe wafuna ekifaananyi kyo wali tosuubiranga na continent tuke Canada nebya street mwebiri. But I want to encourage you nti akaseera ako tukakozese. Kamera eri wajje matulamu. Njagala akaseera ako kakozese nga kiri principal gye nagambye earlier. Kozesa event eyo oba incident eyo as something that is going to propel, what's another word for propel? Push. Something that is going to push you to, first of all, to be part of the solution in avoiding such a problem from happening again. But also, in a story, part of your story, if okay, a blessing to the person who is going to see you next.
Pastor, to okongera, just to touch on commenting at the Tunavao. For someone that doesn't know, are you okay sharing the story of Ian? Because I also think that helps a lot. To me, and even coming from Boston, we have the best Ugandan community. What you guys were able to do in the time, considering I can't even think the doctors approving this and be like, okay, so put the doctors aside, put the actual travel logistics, the speed, getting the community, getting the finances, the family in Uganda, you guys were able to do something amazing. But for someone at Tamanyi, tell us about that situation.
See, in my talking about all the examples I have about community impact, I tell you, so I'm glad you've asked me that. So gwatamanyi what Paradise is asking me about. Just weeks ago, olwaleero
13th.
13 Feb 2026. So just weeks ago, let's say January nga gwakaawo. Our brother, I have a very personal connection with him. There was a time when he struggled here and there, but he had a deep respect for me, so much that even I was overwhelmed by it. But kind of mechigenda munyo in detail ekyo. He got many of us here and there osobola okulwala bangi bano twali tulwaddeko naye si bantu bangi abaali bagambiddwako doctor nti you have just a few months to live. Abantu abasinga tulwala but tetuwulirangako bigambo ebyo nga biva mu kamwa ka doctor nti aye otegedde Eddie olinayo emyezi mitono, so do whatever you need to do. Tetugenda bibino bigambo bamugamba tetugenda genda maaso nga tukola technically doctor kyeyandise treatment. At this point we can only try to keep you comfortable. So abasinga tulwala ne tetuwulirangako bigambo ebyo ate waliwo abamu nga ne badokita abo nabo tebalina kukkiriza. Mukama mpadde omukisa nti nkoze malwaliro for a long time as a chaplain. One of my most difficult incident yali when a doctor yali agezaako okukitabata bino
Resuscitate.
A 12-year-old. A 12-year-old came na nga complaining, in fact mama we yamuleeta tebajira na ambulance, so yava kusomero najja nga na complaining stomach upset, so mama we namuvuga namuleeta ku Image ku emergency hospital. Bwe batuukawo quickly tukiyita actively dying mu lulimi lw'abasawo. Quickly the child started to be actively dying, meaning all organs are failing. So quickly ne bamuleta ku kitanda ne bamuteka mu Image. Tukyali awo mu Image Department of Course kati awo ne bakola all the code blue. Nze nali ku call as a chaplain, so I come and all the rest of the team, so tuli abantu nga 8. Omwana ngali actively dying. Doctor, this young doctor did the compressions, bakola compressions 7 different attempts. At some point they must allow that to do even one more will be unethical. So they pronounced the child dead. The doctor lost it. Ngambe byaddala Jordan. He lost it. Kati nange I'm there ndiawo nga chaplain, spiritual care practitioner. So my job was I didn't think I was coming so much to comfort the doctor. My job was to comfort the family because it was a very tragic moment. But doctor lost it. Nayenga, the reason I'm sharing this, the reason he lost it, he was feeling so guilty that he has not saved the life of this child. I had to support the doctor through that moment. So kyegambidde kino is this: tewali doctor atafaayo nnyo okulaba nti obulamu bw'omuntu abusevinga. Taliyo. In fact, they feel a deep sense of failure omuntu bwe batamuwonya. Kakati gwagamba nti naye abadokita abamu nabo abazungu tebalina kukkiriza. My friend, we yatuukidde ogambira Vianney nti you know what, bwe ngattagatta byonna bye mmanyi, we should not continue the treatment, we should just keep you comfortable. So ebigambo ebyo bamala bigamba Vianney, of course atuula nabyo akaseera. Then at some point, from different people visiting him, a conversation about reality really kicks in, and that conversation was, at this point, what is the most important thing? Vianney, through different conversations now that I'm aware of how it unfolded, it becomes clear that right now, the most important thing for Vianney, kugenda waka, abeere awali mama we, awali abaana babalala, awali family ye, his biological family. That is the most important thing. Kakati, a small committee forms awo quickly. Tumaze okutegeera nti tulina muganda waffe ali mu ddwaliro, abasawo bamugambye nti tetukyakola treatment right now. That's why abantu kye bayita palliative care. Omuntu yenna buli bwe baba batadde mu palliative care kiba kitegeeza nti balekedde awo okutreatinga whatever the condition is. Bali mu kukuuma as comfortable as possible, which really just means painkillers. He was, or he is, on the strongest painkillers. So always kufumiitiriza, like things like fentanyl and all that. So yeeyo situation Jordan gyakonyeeko gwe abadde tamanyi. Kakati bwe tumala okukimanya ekyo nti tulina munnaffe ali mu ddwaliro, badokita bamugambye nti olinayo ebiseera bitono to live. Right now, call what is most important for you. Call the people that you want to call. Speak to whoever you need to be speaking with mu kaseera kano, because ebiseera tokyalinayo bingi. Bwe tukimanya nti nno eno y'essaala ye kugenda waka. So kano katiimu akatono akatondebwawo, we resolve nti buli kyonna kye tugenda okukola is pointing towards that. Buli effort kye tugenda okukola e pointing towards okwanukula essaala ye. We actually did an actual get together to pray in the chapel of the hospital. I led the prayer session. Man, I was moved. Then as I was standing there, and I look at the audience, and sometimes you can see pain in the room. You can see deep pain in the room. I could see very deep pain in the room. And all those people, again, community. Actually, simanyi bawali atali muna Uganda. Chapel ngejjudde. The chapel of St. Michael's Hospital was full. I think if I'm not mistaken, the only people that were not Ugandans there were the spiritual care team of the hospital, so abazungu basatu, the doctor naye ye teyajja na mu service twamuleka waggulu. The rest were Ugandans. Abamu nga baali tebamumanyi namumanyi, si buli yali mu room eyo nti namumanyi. That's one. We now investigate logistics. How much would it cost for Vianney to land in Uganda? Basically, batugamba nti, okay, the best way the doctor would be very comfortable would be to get the airplane to make an arrangement, bagita medical travel something. Okay, tubabuuza, okay, how much is that? Batugamba it's between $80,000 to $100,000. All of us say, exactly that was the response. And remember, no. Eyo movie yoddala. Totally change your mindset. Let's not have a conversation about mitwalo kumi because we know that is out of reach. We need to explore other options. So other options, the doctor wasn't very comfortable with them because he wasn't sure what we are going to put in place for him to travel in a way that would be safe, so that he doesn't die on the plane because of airplane conditions. Long story short, we realized that the amount of money that is needed is big. Whether we do the other simpler option or we were not going to do the other option anyways. So the simpler option was at least quickly when we calculated, a minimum of $20,000, a minimum. Nga tutandika campaign. Right now, means I don't know. I think I might be able to. Right now, if I may, let me see. I just want to see if I can find something quickly. So just chenjagala okulaga the number of people on the list of contributions. You know one. And I'm glad that I'm not telling you funds. I'm just saying how many people. Let's see if I can get to the bottom. My God. Okay. So as of today,
Mm.
and there were some names that were not listed. As of today, I wish I could just even show you for evidence.
Maybe you send me a screenshot and I can include
344 people.
344 people
44 people. As of today,
have contributed.
have contributed.
Oh, wow.
340 asembayo wono wansi. Andrew yasembayo, and this list continues to go. In fact, agamba more donations to be recognized in the next update. But as of today, 344 people. I might even go as far as stating nti buli muntu ali muno muna Uganda. I might even take that leap. I'm just doing a quick thing here. Okay, bwemba mwatali muna Uganda, it is maybe 0.05% mwatali muna Uganda. So I don't think I can say enough. I'm glad you asked me about this because it's an example.
This is incredible.
That just cements the impact of our community. If you want, call Vianney's mom. Akugwainamu ene kadauti nti abana Uganda mu Toronto, abana Uganda mu Canada bayimirirawo bannaabwe nga waliwo obwetaavu. Kakati wegere ku kya insurance. And I don't know, oba okuba nakulira mu kyalo.
Ngenda kwogera something after what this.
Ebintu nga insurance, cost me tax. I have insurance. I have life insurance, yeah. Now, I'm part of Monomukabi. I'm part of all these things. But for me, simanyi gye wakulira senze nakulirayo mu kyalo somewhere deep in the villages of Masaka. The notion or the idea of gwanga mujje or people stepping up nga waliwo ekiguddewo mu community was a norm. It's the normal thing. Nti waliwo ekiguddewo mu community abantu basitukiramu. That was the normal thing. Tewaliwo na kukyogerera, tewaliwo na kukiwanda nti kwono tugende kwono tetugenda sikiwulirangayo mu kyalo. Okay, except some cases there were sometimes bagamba ogundi yali abantu bwanafa tetujja kugendayo. I hear those, but those are very it's meant even to be a funny statement. But in general, the idea, I guess Desmond Tutu was right about Ubuntu, the idea of people stepping up when need arises in the community was a norm. And for me, I celebrate this, but I also say we have only done the right thing. Yeah. We've done the thing that we should be doing. And at your mindset, you are an alien. You are an alien.
You are the old man out.
You are the old man out.
So, Pastor, let me say something. Wang, I think we spoke about it outside before we started recording.
Yeah.
But wabadde ku parliament yamwe. Nembuza omukyala. If someone's wish nga omufirika here was to go back home, spend the possible last days of his life with his family, what programs are in place to ensure that happens? Mubufunze, nothing. And the community where I have to give you guys credit, it's not even just a money issue.
No.
You could have had, so let's say you get your insurance policy to cut you a check, 100,000.
Yeah.
But you as a sick person, now you have 100,000 on your account. Let's say you had a wonderful insurance policy, so jirina sente zikuwadde. Unlikely to osobola okwezaayo ewaka.
The different pieces that needed to be attended to in this project, if I may call it. There were so many details where money was not the thing you're looking for. You were looking for a person. Kati, nkubalire ki. The number of people that slept in the hospital mu kaseera ako amawulire ago gamaze okujja tolinayo ennaku ntono okubeerawo. By the way, let me just make a point here as a person of faith nti for me agamawulire yes ganakuwaza naye tegansuza ate nga sebase. I've had an incident where I was called as a pastor to a family. Dr. amaze bagamba nti omuntu waabwe alina 4 hours to live. Exactly this very Bible. So nzija ne Bible yange kakati maama w'omwana ambuuza mu mutima mulungi, see not like confrontation, nambuuza but pastor what kind of prayer do you pray now? Like seriously, yeah, what kind of prayer do you pray? The doctor said you have 4 hours to live, so what do we pray? What do we pray? And we are believers, we love the Bible. In fact, we also have Bible, but what do we pray now? So thankfully I had encountered that situation many times before, even in our time of theology school. We were encouraged that in that time we pray that between now and whenever the Lord calls our loved one home, we pray that our loved one and the people that are left behind, we rest in knowing that our loved one is in the hands of God. That is what we pray. Now, the between this time and when the person dies, yes, it could be the 4 hours, Dr. Zagambye, or it could be the next 4 years. Byonna tubirabyeko. So when I talk in such a way, I'm not speaking out of no faith. Bw'owulira nga ngamba nga nenga atwala ebigambo bya doctor seriously, it's not because I lack faith. No, not at all. I'm very realistic nti kisoboka omuntu okufa musaawa Dr. Zagambye. Naye ate era tukirabyeko. I have a friend. In 2008, he's a paramedic. Doctor yamugamba nti alina emyezi 4 to live. Cancer. Today, this is 2026, he's still here. Doctor yamugamba in 2008 nti alina emyezi 4 to live. So byonna mbirabyeko Mukama bana nsobozeseza okubirabako n'amaaso gange. So when I take the doctor's word serious, I'm not saying I have little faith. When I also tell you nti osobola okufa so many years from when the doctor told you, I'm not out of my mind. I'm speaking bintu byemanyiko. But I want to go back to your example, and I just love how your brain is working. There are many little details in the story of Vianney, or anyone's story in this case, where money will not be the solution, where people are going to be the solution. Kati nkulage one more thing. Yeah, I don't think he would have a problem me sharing this. No, ni mama wa baby. So after so many boxes have been checked, Dr. Jonathan comes nga ngamba nti Eddie, everything is cleared. I've come here to tell Vianney, nabaddeyo ne mwami Rubulo. I've come to tell Vianney that either he can leave tomorrow or he can leave on Wednesday. So that was Monday. Kati Vianney teyakiwulidde. Kati ne mugamba doctor, leka musemberere ku kuttu mubuulire bulungi ky'omugambye. Oba gwe musemberere just speak louder akuwulire. Doctor asembera, speaks louder, amubuulira. Vianney lit up. Pastor, God really answers prayers. Yeah, God really answers prayers. It is all checked off. Buli obstacle kali checked off. You are going home. Kakati nga Vianney angamba, no, mugambe tugende ncha. Because bamugambye batubuuza tulondeko, ne mbagamba, what? Kasita Vianney wali wano ayogera ategerera ddala bulungi katumugambe yaba alondako. Vianney n'agamba tugende ncha. It's like right away pretty much. Let's just go right away. Kati mama wa baby nagamba no, naye maybe twandigenze ku luli oluddako tusooke waliwo ebintu ebiri mu storage maybe tusooke tubisortinge, ombuulire biki ebyokusuula biki ebyokukuuma. Vianney turns to me and says, Pastor, help me. Omubuulire to appreciate, to understand nti ne bw'oba oyagala tugende today right now ku dakiika eno, I am ready. Ebintu ebiri mu storage mu bufunze kati nendowooza oba waliyo maybe just obuntuntu maybe ka microwave or little things kati mbuuza mama baby nti storage bintu biki ebiriyo nangamba no it's a full storage like ebintu ebyo byonna bye yalina mu nyumba all his belongings biri mu storage. So in other words it's not like one little kameza katono, no, ebintu ebyo byonna all your belongings buli mu wano olina gy'obeera bw'oba obadde wano for some time ne bweguma mwaka obaako n'ebintu byo byogamba these are my belongings. At that point nga Vianney ali mu kulaga nti none of those possessions mattered. What mattered? People. Nga ali mu kulaga nti no mu kaseera kano ebintu is not important. Abantu is what is important. Maama abaana be bagenda okulaba nga bwe kiba mu mutima gwe nga gamba nti bwe kiba nga kituufu nti nno ngenda kufa in the next few months njagala nfiire awali abantu bange saawali ebintu byange. So I cannot overemphasize this, and I'm glad I don't have to fetch stories and examples from books. I'm only talking about the life I've seen with my own eyes and I've heard with my own ears about the impact of abantu, the impact of community. In fact, I don't think there is much wisdom mu muntu yenna ayisaamu abantu amaaso. Bagita gaali ennaku zino. Omuntu yenna ayisaamu abantu oba omugaso gw'abantu eggaali.
Aba talina kumanya.
Kumanya kuba, and I say that very respectfully. Kumanya kwe kubaamu ebituli. Kubanga bw'ogezaako okunoonyereza wa eyo mindset gy'ekola toyina gy'ogisanga nga there's this society or this village or this rich person nga ye obulamu abutambuza tebuli mu bantu.
Pastor, mwakoze ekintu ky'amaanyi, so Vianney yatuuse.
Mwendo bwe tumala ogumanya nti muneneko, we actively start fundraising. Wanawadde 10, wanawadde olw'ataano, wanawadde 2. Eyo no nayo example kanji kwe kubanga emitwalo gino 3,200 ate nga even as I speak here and there abantu bakyawaayo. Tezazze lwakuba omuntu yazze n'atuwa omutwalo gumu kitundu. No. In fact, tewali muntu yatuwa sente. In fact, zitukana mu 5,000. Yes, nalabayo 10,000. Tewali muntu yajja n'agamba gugu n'omutwalo. No.
Kuna 3, 5.
Wakitegedde nanyumyanga
2.
Waliwo naye waayo olw'10. Nga lwayina. That's why olw'omuvubuka olumu awo, it's a young man, yajja n'atukanga mwana agamba ne tewabawaayo below 50. Of course namuleka, he was coming from a good place. Naye that's not something I would say. But I'm saying that to say nti gino emitwalo 3,200 egyasobozesezza Vianney okutambula very comfortably, everything considered in terms of the plane, zaavuddemu olw'10, olw'2, olw'3, olw'2, olw'5, olw'10. Tewali yaleese emitwalo 2 lumu. Kati sirina nabyenyeeza. Bwe banjogedde plane nga nange sistaddeeko sukaali tolina ky'oŋŋamba. That's what I would say. Tolina ky'oŋŋambako. Wekikwatagana ne amaanyi ga community. Boyine agayita maanyi g'abantu. Tolina ky'oŋŋamba. And I say that because of my lived experience.
Yeah, but I think with Vianney's story, it has become even more clear. And for me, and there was with my work is the communities outside of Canada, outside of the US, twina Uganda, Europe, in Asia.
Yeah.
No, but bagenda tandika okwadoptinga model because while this is an unfortunate situation mwe tukirabira, but I think it's even more clear now because it's like omuntu ayinza ogamba nyina yembaga a year from now and people will still support, but you've given them a year. Wakiraba. So that also shows community, but now to Gamanti, this is a matter of weeks. And as pretty much as complex, almost I would say even if someone had already passed, it would be easier.
Yeah.
Because, we've seen it where someone passes and they have, 3 weeks, they have a month, they can figure it out.
Yeah.
The insurance life policies kick in. So, but this, I don't even know how, to highlight it, but I think this is the clear community for, not an elder. I look at it and go, if this had been someone that's been here for 20 years, they accrue, like they kind of earned the sport, they've had the longevity, they've been around, they've also helped that many people, so it makes sense. So kitegera nti omuntu aluddewo wakati ng'omuntu aluddewo nga bagamba ono abaddewo ono omuntu waffe, but I feel like it's someone younger person, even easier okumwe okugamba okitegeera. It's not a pastor. So
No,
in my mind, I'm like, still,
in a very going off of that. This, what Chetuli Mukwogerako right now, has more to do with the community than about Vianney himself.
Yeah.
Chetuli Mukwogerako, what we saw says more about the community than Vianney as a person. So you're 100% right. Vianney is not government. Yes, abadde elder, abadde wano myaka asatu, abadde wano azise buli muntu. No, absolutely not. There are many people, what did they 344 people, many of them babadde tebamumanyi. In fact, I don't know. I think she's also okay to share with me. I mean, so I got a message from a friend, Juliana. Pastor, I saw Ramusavira Vianney. Simomani. So I don't know him, but boy, I am so moved. I am so touched. There's another person, Angela. She's a judge, Uganda. She actually visited him yesterday. She called to say, Pastor, I want to connect somehow. So this not because of Vianney per se, but what you guys and you have repeatedly said that also. So the more you look at this, what we are really talking about is more about the community
than the one person. Individual. So
it could have been any person
at this point. Yeah,
it could have been any person. And we talk about giving fatigue or things like that. This idea of I want to encourage you. Because in a conversation in other settings where omuntu agamba ne pastor eggulu twabadde tuwaayo lwakino
building fund waliwo afiiriddwa to missions.
The reason this becomes doable ate bwe tuti bwe twakuzibwa kati bwe nzirirayo ddala njogera mu Luganda lwennyini bwe nzirirayo ku nnono gye twakuliramu eyabbanga mujje oyo wa Uganda tewabangawo omuntu nga bwe nagambye alia omuntu n'afa ku kyalo this time nogamba bannaya twaziise luli tetugenda kuzeeka luno sikiwulirangako growing up and I'm sure this day it is still the case. But why do I say this? I say this to encourage you. The reason it becomes possible is exactly these numbers. Kati omuntu yawaddeyo 10, omuntu yawaddeyo olw'ebibiri, omuntu yawaddeyo olw'ataano. It becomes doable to do it again because many people are participating. So that's why I'm encouraging you. Nti temuggwamu maanyi, temukoowa kubeererawo each other when the need arises. It becomes actually a lot more doable bwe tuba bangi abakyetabyemu. So yes, emitwalo 3 mitono si mitono. Actually emitwalo 3 is what in Uganda? It's a lot of money. It's not small amount.
At least over $1 million.
That's a lot of money.
I don't know.
That
don't
is a lot
me on that.
Bazikunganyiza within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But zakunganyiziddwa lwakuba abantu bangi bakyenyigiddemu. So I encourage you to actually see that kino kisoboka. Now, bw'oba olinayo omuntu gw'omanyi nga maybe olw'ebizibu bye yali ayiseemu alimu eyo mindset ey'obuteetaba mu bigenda maaso mu community. Encourage them that you actually become part of a very big significant thing when you join with others.
Pastor, community yo I feel like community tujogedde kati takitegedde kati
oyo tuba tujja
oyo abatajja agitegeera
asaana kusaako mikono n'amafuta. Yes.
So my observation nga tumaliriza, first of all, everybody that's involved mwebale because kudos
of you. I like you said everybody banji like different ways, different things nga batugambi wali, and yes, the money is important, but man, the people were extremely important in the different ways. So yes, kama atibajjukirira ekyo
abantu abannayuganda be Toronto, I think you guys, you know, with the event ey'abantu abajja mu 2023 awo, and now with this, I think for someone choosing to migrate, I've actually even had some Americans when holiday they were in America, ne basalawo okujja eno. You guys have solidified
friends like that.
Yeah, you solidified your position. I think now we can say Canada maybe number 2, Toronto maybe number 2 after Boston.
But you know what, Paradise, I'm going to invite you to say a little bit more about that. As kubanga ffe olumu ababeera wano, I think the temptation sometimes can be to take things for granted. Now I look at you, who is now kind of comparing, and I think that the Torontonians, they need to hear that said a bit more. Actually, when muyinza okuba wano nemwetwala nga aba bulijjo, naye ekyo kyemwakoze si kya bulijjo.
Si kya bulijjo.
I think bwe biba biva mu muntu atabeera wano, I think there's a different weight to it, because Musumba bwabyogera baga, of course
gwe kyolina okwogera. Yeah,
I'm actually moved, I'm encouraged by how you, because okyogedde kati mirundi ebiri. I want to invite you to say a little bit more to that Torontonian person ayetwala nga wa bulijjo by doing things like this compared to maybe gye kitali.
Right. So people don't realize, you said ebisinga, in the US, social services teziri available for the average person. Like, or kubeera with some sort of mental health issue. Like, you don't walk up nogamba njagala wa kusula oba shelters. Shelter means something completely different ewaffe. To the point that people are on the street and prefer to be on the street than to go to shelters. I know here that some people, newcomers, baja, and they give them a hotel, and I'm like, a hotel?
Unthinkable,
it's unimaginable. So when people come to the US, omuntu yalina okusuza. Omuntu yalina okusuza. Like that's like the only option there. Otandikirawo obulamu. Kati first of all, you guys being able to even have like the structure there, but also have like people like you nga you have connections with the local government nga you can even make those calls quickly. Ekyo kyanjawulo nnyo kubanga kiringa omwana w'omugagga abeera ewaka nga bamuwa emmere nga tagimalaawo. Kati omwana bw'ava mu kyalo mukyalira n'alaba nti ono enkoko agireka ku sowaani, asooka n'amutunuulira n'amugamba oba ono ali ku ki, because you've had it for so long. You don't recognize that goze mu 2023, but waliyo wa Pastor Eddie abajja, they navigated this system, ne babitegeera ne bamanya kati gwe bakugamba bugambi genda kweno office, but even the idea that this is the office to go to didn't just I'm sure the local government yakonkonanga ku nzigi ne babuuza oli bulungi. You had to figure that out. And I tell newcomers everywhere, just because it's easy for you, bw'osanga people ababaddewo n'atakwinaako Luganda, their presence contributed to you having it a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
I create a lot of videos
for those that are coming.
I create a lot of videos on like the credit system, bichi. Never kati people watch my videos, najja ogenda olaba, in 2 years they're able to buy a home, bichi. because you leveraged off knowledge omuntu omulala gye yakuwa.
Otagwa mu mistake, yeah.
So abantu be Toronto, congratulations, you have a community. Ate ngamba ddala younger people, kubanga young people tulina input to sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of like doing your own thing. You're sometimes more educated. Okola akasente. Kati when you hear community, first all around like someone's dragging you down, byabakadde. But ate eventually you're gonna have children. Yeah. You know, kati now ogenda fuuka mukadde. Now ogenda tuuka where, you know, you need to rely on people. Nze, it's only until, you know, sijagamba nange naliko muvubuka, but I think I struggled a lot with having that connecting with these older people in a way that sort of like, of course, because I spent nakulya mu America. Kati nga wendaba abantu I came to the US in like my early teens. I watched that, but I decided earlier on I wanted to be part of the community, and then also be the bridge. Okulaga bana abaana abato abajja nti, listen, you can go get your education, but you are most valuable here than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's you can't. Let's say you are a Ugandan doctor. You treating a Ugandan and bringing them back to full health is going to be the most satisfying thing you'll ever do. You as a Ugandan ali mu finance, helping 10 Ugandans understand financial education and be financially responsible, then they will go ahead and either help their family members and all their contribution goes back to your country. If someone can fix their finances, nade Uganda, na Zimba apartment, na Suzaba na Uganda. So our greatest contribution is where God put us. Like, and I think people struggle with that because people have a tendency to think, if I'm outside of the community, I am automatically better. Nobody outside will accept you. Ebweru bagala baabwe. Ate gwe toli waabwe. Ate ababo obaleseewo. That's almost oba okitegeera. That's like a lion seeking acceptance with the hyenas. The hyenas might know the lion is more powerful. The hyenas will never like the lion because the lion will always be a threat. This is why people struggle when they come here and they want to do things outside there, and the world outside is not accepting them. Ate webabakkiriza. Help your people. So I for me, community has, I can't talk enough about it. I love the community, the Ugandan communities, and I think people here, Bana Uganda, bayamba. Bana Uganda is quick. You call people, no weddings. We do weddings. Boston, people say, I have a wedding. Okuja kumbaga yange, dola bisatu. And then they run out of space. Because people just want that, come together, celebrate. Katinze nange nga wogambye omuntu ayogera ku community. Mujjako engalo. I can't say anything about that.
Yeah. We need each other. A point of maybe empathy would be maybe because sometimes nga bwenagambye wali there's this thing kyetuyita trauma on trial. Sometimes omuntu ayogera from a source of trauma and unfortunately ebintu byamutukako biba byamutukako nga era abantu bali involved. But maybe a point of pause would be for all of us to consider the impact of our actions on others. Nti omuntu omukola ekintu n'omudamaging. I could use a different word. That's damaging mu Luganda olutuufu.
Damage. Damage.
Omuntu omukola ekintu n'omukosa mu ngeri eri lifelong. Omukola ekintu ne kikyusa omutima gwe mu ngeri ennene ennyo. N'akyusa ne bw'alabamu ebintu. So bikolwa byaffe, I'm just taking a pause there to talk about the abusers now. Nti osobola okukola omuntu ekintu amazima n'omukyusa engeri gy'alabamu ebintu olw'obunene bw'ekibi ky'omukozi. Kati awo twekolemuko omulimu awo bw'oba nga obadde ku paati eno etafaayo abantu bakola by'oyagadde oyogera by'oyagadde kubanga gye bali abo nabo nomusanga nogaana bannaye opimyemu how much pain that is going to bring to that family nga tonaba kwogera bigambo ebyo by'oyogedde eri abaana baabwe eri omwami we eri omukyala we opimyemu obuzito bw'obatisse mu kwogera ebigambo ebyo especially olumu ebitali na bituufu. So I'm talking about the abusers nti twekolemu omulimu tuleme contributing to the trauma that people have to go through. But now when I speak about the abused, tokkiriza the person who abused you ate yagende mu maaso nga yafuga engeri gy'ointeractingamu ne community. First of all, yakuabusing, that's one bad thing. But also moving forward, omulese abeere nga wadde mwayawukana dda oba ate tokyamuwuliza namuwuliza, but somehow omuwadde so much power nti even on a daily life still your actions, your decisions ziri influenced by the thing that abuser did to you. This is my counseling brain. So I encourage you to take back that power, yes, and you call it what it is. Kyeyakola, call it what it is, abuse. Yakubako maybe sente zo wamuwala ng'ali mu buzibu n'atazikuddiza. Yes, they violated you. Yakujja ku street nga oli mu kaseera akali so difficult n'akutwala n'akukozesa sexually. So you call it what it is. They abused you. Tomuwa buyinza moving forward kugenda ate era nga ya determining your involvement or your decision not to be involved. Bw'obanga osazeewo obutabeera involved, noonyaayo nsonga z'endala naye towa abuser authority much power abeera nga yasalawo mu in your decision. Tomuwa any voice in that decision making table. Don't give them any voice. So I take a pause there to balance those two sides because zonna ziri real.
Yeah.
Ziri real.
Musumba nga tumaliriza, one thing kyesinza butayogerako is mental health. Yeah. So we see a lot ddala mu bannayuganda abawangalira mu diaspora. So even recently I think we saw a girl yali Germany yekasuka mu train. Yeah. We've seen a lot of people even in the UK, even in the US, nga they are, for lack of better terms, they are losing it. Yeah. So you as a community leader, as a spiritual leader, Chichi, what is happening here? Because while it may not be the majority, but I feel like naffe tulina okwadressinga ki ekiri mu kuhappeninga kati. Yes, of course, we are more connected, so we hear more. Yeah. But do you think there's something happening here when it comes to mental health that people should be aware about?
So, Kakati, I'm actually a registered psychotherapist.
Oh.
Part of what I do is to actually do psychotherapy. So, the current statistics in North America, so Canada, ne USA. One, buli wosanga 4 people, literally. So, picture ntebe eno tudeka abantu bana, statistics zigamba nti omu kuffe abana. In the course of our life, what's the life expectancy? What is it in the US? 80, I don't know, 85, I don't know.
Yeah, mid-80s.
Yeah. So in the course of our life, meet the criteria of a diagnosable mental health disorder.
Wow.
You see the book DSM-5. That's the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Health Disorder. Body type of diagnosis. There are so many, so many. Naye statistics zigamba nti buli lwosanga abantu bana oba bana Uganda oba si bana Uganda, as long as babeera mu North America. Well, actually, I don't know if it's even global, to maybe beyond North America. So I say that to for the lack of a better word, I say that to normalize the occurrence of mental health disorders or diagnosable mental health disorders. So the other way that I want to say that is that it's not the case nti waliwo atuloga afe abajja mu North America nti oba
No, we can't
waliwo
skip
like
that.
some special thing in the air that we breathe kasita osala bwe twabeeranga e Masaka twagamba kasita osala Lwera kasita osala border. Not really, because at a general scale munange obulwadde oba obukosefu ku bwongo munaye bungi. What is responsible for that? A million reasons. Of course, abamu, yes, it is, yes, trauma, things that have happened. Abalala, it is genetical things, things in our families. Abalala, it is all kinds of things. Ebintu byetukoze nga oba byetulabye, PTSD for example, olaba ekintu nga you only wish you had not seen it. Nekisigala nga kikumenya all your lived life. Yeah. So the question of hey, what's going on? Waliwo something unique. So I would say in general no, but also in specific I would say yes, and I'm not contradicting myself. I'll just say why. Omuntu asenguse n'ava mu nsi gye yali abeeramu n'ajja mu ndala, waliwo some unique stressors, paradise zagenda okusanga omulala zatagenda kuyitamu. Let's say tuli babiri, gwe wazaalibwa mu US n'omuvinga wano ng'olina emyaka 2, nze onsanze wano nazaalibwa wano nange nina emyaka 2. Okusomoozebwa kw'ogenda okuyitamu waliwo okuli unique. Nze kwesinza nakufumiitiriza kakati ezo zibayita immigration stressors ziri unique to abantu aba immigrating. Kyovala bwe tutuula ne twogera nti bannaye don't take it lightly. Ebintu bikuba nga wakajja mutuufu n'olowooza ne ku bintu bye tolowoozanga nako, n'okozesa ebintu bye takosanga nako. Ndabye wano abaana, it breaks my heart to beyond description. Natandika okukozesa ebiragala to numb whatever pain they are going through. Natandika okukozesa ebintu, natandika okulowooza kwetta. But I will tell you a statistic. Abantu bonna, so batusomesa mu suicide first aid, nti abantu bonna abagezaako okwetta ne batabeera successful, so the survivors of suicide, any suicide attempt, thank God, is never successful. When they are interviewed, balina same message. Bagamba nti mu kugezaako okwetta, bwe namirira bigundi ebyo ebiweke byonna nfe, mu kaseera ako kye nali ngezaako okumalawo, it's not so much life itself, nali ngezaako okumalawo bulumi. Nti when people come to a place of feeling like tewali solution, there is no solution to the pain I'm going through or the problem I'm going through, and they resort to suicide, those people, they are not so much trying to end life itself per se, they are trying to end the pain.
To stop the pain.
Kakati, what's the messaging in that for us? The messaging is, or the takeaway is, nti gwa akitegeddeko ekyo, if there's any way you can, in some form, mu busobozi bw'obutono, so I'm not asking you to perform miracles, but mu busobozi bw'obutono, bw'oba olina engeri gy'osobola okukendeezaako ku bulumi bw'omuntu oyo, you would have tapped into the part of them that actually wants to live. Because omuntu yenna ali mu kunavigating a suicide, especially those who, batugamba in suicide language, nti they always give us signs tuzimisinga bumisinzi, or we either miss or dismiss the signs. But always people that are struggling with suicide, they give us signs. Kakati bw'olabayo ka sign, the attempt on your end or the helpful thing would be do something to reduce their pain. Oba just kumukyalira kutuulako naye 2 hours, do it. Si kya bwa Katonda okusaagira ku kintu kya mental illness. Yeah, what is another book I have? Si kya bwa Katonda okusaagira ku mental illness. Mental illness tesosola nti ono believer, ono si believer, ono foreigner, ono gira, ono mzungu, ono mudugavu. Tesosola. All of us on this side of heaven, we have what it takes to succumb to these cares of the world. Now, in terms of approach or response, this is my final image about mental illness. Now, jogera for response. Usually, tolaba kati wasembako ndaba in 2024. Singa okomyewo wano n'osanga nga ndi ku muggo oba nga mponyera kubanga nga visibly ntambula in a way that shows nti evivi lyange linnuma oba okugulu kwamenyeka or something like that. Somehow there is nga sikubuulidde nakukubulira kyakukola, sikugambye nakugamba anything, somehow ogenda kwesanga nga onyambako wano here nkuyambeko tekikumenye bibye olugi kandukwate oba tositula ekyo kansitule, ogenda kwesanga nga okola ebintu bwe bityo nga sikugambye nakugamba kubanga olaba nti nomponyera. Kakati that same image, paradise, is the image I want to encourage you when ampuliriza. That same response already ogirina, you realize that already ogirina, you already that compassionate response or reaction fenna tugirina. Natulabye omuntu alemala oba awonyera ate lwe twamusanga tawonyera nga pastor yabadde kibambika muyambeko wano walime. That same, you have it already. Apply that same thing.
Yes.
Kumuntu kwosanze nga now struggle eri mental oba nkiyite okuwonyera mentally. Yeah, because somehow we are okay nga evivi lyamenyese
nga tukirabako
naye ate lwekibanga somehow the fracture is in the mind. Somehow to applying that same response and empathy and compassion that we already have, we don't apply it to that.
Pastor, ndoza obudde bwaffe bwebwo twabwise namudda. Njagala kwebaza this time ebigambo byoyogedde. Many people watch this video in 2026, some people in the years to come, but I think the message, the time is irrelevant. I think the message of community, I think, which is the biggest. It's it's timely, and omuntu yenajja nga yakatandika. I think what the community is really asking, gobayambye when it's your turn. Tewebalama toddukaye when it's your turn. Naawe ng'olina a spare bedroom.
Play it forward.
Baako ne gosuza, you don't have to basuza a whole year, but even a week.
Makes a difference.
And I know you're naye akole ekyekimu. And I think that's the biggest insurance policy gye that's the biggest guarantee of safety gye with the community. So I don't want to take too much of your time. Njagala kwebaza. Thank you for your time. Is there something you would like to say before we close?
I want to thank you. Akaseera ke nayita mwaka ka 2023, it kanyambako okukula when it comes to my level of appreciation for people that stand behind cameras. I'm so serious. Na abantu nga bantu bali basulawo ku church, nalina to confess, nalina obusungu. Nalina obusungu nga kwanga omuntu yajja simanyi nabadde ntandika okunyumiriza story eyo nenjerabira mukwano gwange omuzungu oyo gwe nagambye omugagga yajja nambuuza, pastor, manyi toyagala byogerako bino, yalambulira mu luzungu nagamba naye nze kambyogereko. Nambuuza, abantu bano abasula wano at that time bali basuzeewo emyezi 2. Nagamba singa bonna babadde bazungu ogamba wandi basuzizza ennaku mmeka? kati wadi nali mbirowoozaako ebintu ebyo naye nali sibirowoozangako bwentyo yambuuza singa bonna babadde bazungu nga tugeze bavudde somewhere in Europe ne bagwa ku street nga tewali kitanda olunaku olusoose olunaku olwokubiri n'odduka n'obajjayo ku street bonna n'obaleeta wano olowooza wandi basuzizza ennaku mmeka nga gavumenti tennaba batwala. Ekibi ffenna ansa eyo twali tugimanyi. Twali tugimanyi nti nali sobola basuza myezi 3 because at that point gyali myezi 3 nali nkimanyi nti there is no way lwena ndibasuza emyezi 3 nga sinafuna response from the government like a serious response. So anyways mu nnaku 2 ezasooka saagala bamawulire nga saagala kumanya bw'oba tondeetedde lyenvu oba mukebe gwa sukaali oba toilet paper abantu gwe bagenda okukozesa oba toleese ka transport ka Uber kubanga abamu baali balwala ng'olina omubalinga mu ddwaliro nga saagala ku-entertaininga but omuntu n'antuusa wansi and educated me about the impact of media. And I appreciated the wisdom. So I totally changed. Then I became very positive about media. Buli media kuba akasimu nga muwa bulungi interview nga muwa opportunity nga the phrase the paradise. Ekintu ekyali kiringaawo ekyali some simple operation, it became a Canada-wide attention. Simani, you can Google there how many clips of TV news that covered me about that, covered the project about Avenjawolo, Babal Basolowao. It became a Canada-wide thing because of media. So example njiwadde ngomboze ekisembayo ndi mu kutwala omukisa guno okusiima n'okussaamu ekitiibwa ebintu byonna bimukola.
Crane Cargo ye kampani eshipping ebintu okuva mu US nga babitwala e Uganda. Basobola okukola pick-up oba osobola okubyereetera. Osobola okubireeta mu barrels, osobola okubireeta mu boxes, oba osobola okubireeta nga weebiri ne babipakinga bulungi ne babishippinga. Batwala ebintu ku nnyonyi buli wiiki oba gw'ayagala okukozesa emmeeri batwala ebintu buli mwezi. Basange ku 481 Boston Road, Unit 4 mu Berica, Massachusetts. Wabakubire ku simu yaabwe +1 781 288 2042. Bagambe Paradise yakusindise basobole okuwa discount oba kozesa discount code Paradise 10.